Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to talking about 5 things I wish I knew when I started out in corporate. Now, why should you listen to me? I'm about 4 or 5 years into my career journey. I've changed roles, I've gotten promotions, I've actually 10x my salary, and I've figured out that there's some things that you need to know when you start out in corporate. The first one is always take initiative. Now, this might seem a bit intuitive, but sometimes it's not. If you notice something that could be done, sometimes, and I put a caveat there, it is in your best interest to figure out how to do it. So I'll give you a practical example. In my first role, I was fresh out of uni and just trying to figure out my place in the career environment. I had a project where there was a particular data analysis model that had to be done, and there was a particular tool that we needed to use for that data analysis model that was a bit new to most members of the team. As a junior person on the team in that particular instance, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I couldn't do it at the time, right? But I volunteered myself for that particular model. Step one. Step two was, okay, figure out who knows this model or who knows how to use this particular tool and who could I leverage and get help from. And so what I did throughout that project, right? So I kept on asking questions, asking people, not in my current team, but outside my team, leveraging resources within the company to figure out, to get smarter on that particular model and then do it right. The easier thing to do in that situation would have been to just say, okay, I don't know this model. I'm happy to learn. I can, work with someone on the model and leave it up to my superiors. I remember just taking that step, to take that initiative for that particular model, and actually played a huge role in actually my first promotion, because I remember a feedback I got from my manager was they were really impressed by the fact that I took initiative to figure out a model and a new particular tool in this instance that was beneficial for the team. I'll give you a more recent example that you can probably relate to in your current job or role. It's no news that AI is changing the world rapidly. Companies are trying to figure out how to integrate AI into their workflow. They're trying to figure out ways to be more efficient, ways to maximize output. It doesn't matter if you're not in a tech heavy role. One thing you could do is figure out maybe how can I integrate AI more into my workflow. It could be maybe AI for meeting notes, for example, or AI for summaries of documents, and test out these things. And when you test out these things, maybe make 1 or 2 slides and tell your manager that, oh, okay, I'm testing out these things. Maybe we could collaborate within the company. That members of the team could increase their efficiency, right? That's just a very random example, but it just goes to show, if you look within your company and there's a particular task that you have seen that maybe takes people long to do or long to implement, and there's a pain point that you're seeing that might not be within your immediate job description, but if you can take time out to figure out how to do it, then that would always give you a leg up within your company or your. Number two is always go for the work social. Now, depending on if you work remotely or you work hybrid, this could mean different things for you. But on my first role, I was working physically in the office, right? And it was something I quickly learned that I had to do, was always go for the work social. This is typically the environment where you get to interact with other members of the broader team. So maybe not your direct team members, or maybe not your direct managers, but maybe your skip level managers, which is typically your manager's manager, for example. And in that relaxed environment, again, remember, it's a relaxed environment, but it's still a work environment. So make sure you are being responsible. But as a caveat, but in that relaxed environment, it's helpful to build that personal connections with your co-workers, because remember, the world is actually very small. The corporates, depending on maybe the field you are in, there's a high tendency that even if you change your jobs, you will still come across your co-workers or people that you have worked with, maybe clients or partners. You'll still come across them later in life. You never know, right? So it's always good to build that personal relationship, and one thing that can help you do that is always going for the work socials. Now, I know I'm a Gen Z, and maybe fellow Gen Zs, we are You don't pay me for that, you're only paying me for the work hours, so I clock in and I clock out, right? Which is fair. You don't want anybody to disturb your zen and your personal time, but sometimes these are investments that you need to make to grow in your career, right? So that could be something that you consider in this new year. Maybe there's an end of year party that you did not show up for. Do better this year. Next one is a bit tricky, but it's always have an exit strategy. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, but I thought you're advocating for, growing in your career and growing in a particular role. Why are you saying always have an exit strategy? Well, life comes at you fast. I think one thing I learned real quickly is never be lured into a false sense of security, especially in the workplace, right? So maybe you work in a particular role or a career where there's low turnover, meaning people tend to stay long and people tend to grow within the team and grow within the company, which is good. I'm happy for you that you have such a career or such a workplace, right? But even within that role, ensure that you always have an exit strategy. So what could this look like? In practical terms, this could be your contingency plan. Maybe you probably want to go for further studies. That's if you're still an early career, or maybe you want to go for further studies. That could be something that you have in the back of your mind. Maybe there are other roles you're considering. That could be also something you have in the back of your mind. One thing I've learned is that typically the best time to interview is when you don't need a job, when you are not in quotes desperate for a new job. Means you're a bit more calmer, you're able to make your case better because there's no desperation or bills that are like clouding your mind, right? So I think that has been something that I have learned easily. So maybe you got into a new job 2 years ago or a new role and you're enjoying it, which is fine. But once in a while, take an interview. Taking an interview just helps you to sharpen your interview skills. For example, it just helps you to also know your market value. Again, some people have a different opinion on this particular point, but I'll just say it. Some people have the opinion that the best way to actually grow your earning potential is to switch jobs a couple of years, which typically is not as true in these days just because of how the job market is right now. So I'll say take that with a pinch of salt. In a similar vein, the fourth thing I would like to share about is ensuring that in every role you are learning or earning, right? So especially if you're in early career, maybe you're in a particular role and you're prioritizing learning new skills, getting exposure to particular industries, getting exposure to different functions within a company, different roles, maybe in a training program. Maybe the money might not be as good as other roles, but you know that you're prioritizing learning opportunities that will set you up for success in the future. That's good. The second thing is maybe you're prioritizing earning, which is also fine as well. Make sure that even if you're prioritizing any earning opportunities, is not at the detriment of your growth. But to be fair and to be frank with you, most times the roles that are giving you that earning opportunities tend to also give you that learning opportunities as well. But again, something to always check out for as you evaluate your career. If you don't prioritize learning and constant growth, you get a particular point in your career where you're too expensive for, in quotes, seemingly limited skill set, right? So if you're not constantly learning and improving yourself, obviously as you're growing your career, you want to be paid more. And then companies, again, are businesses, right? So even as much as they say they're a family, they're businesses, remember that. But companies are businesses, right? So they're always prioritizing, ensuring that they are making optimal use of their resources. So they don't want people that are too expensive and don't have the skill set that they require for a particular role, right? So ensuring that you're up to date, you're constantly learning, constantly prioritizing growth opportunities. And the last one is your career isn't just about hard work, it's about who is willing to say your name in the right room. I have learned that a good manager can actually make or break your career, and I'm not even kidding. It is essential to find your supporters early on, even aside your direct manager or the person you actually report to within your company. Finding supporters early is crucial to your success. So figure out someone within the company that you can get advice from, someone that can help you grow, a mentor within the company as well, right? That can you can just have them be like 1 or 2 meetings with per month, or even one meeting in 2 months, something like that. Just someone that you can touch base with and ensure that you are also thinking about what the company is thinking about. Even when you are thinking of maybe switching roles, ensuring that you are also thinking about that good manager point, especially if you are still early in your career. If you have a role where you have like a very, very good manager that is committed to your growth, maybe I would say consider before you move, right? Again, you're not working in fear, like you know what you're doing, but just consider, just because a good manager is really, really, really crucial to your growth in your career. So yeah, those are the 5 things that I wanted to share today. Let me know if you have any video suggestions or content that you want to see with regards to career, finance, everything that we'll talk about in this channel, and see you in my next video. Thank you.